Hello friends, in this particular video we are going to discuss a topic called as Grimaldi man from chapter 1.6 paper 1. Here you will find its mention in Homo sapien, and this topic is very important as frequently questions have been there from this particular topic. So we will start writing answer on this Grimaldi man, right? Grimaldi man. It comes under Homo sapien if you have gone through the syllabus, right? So we'll start directly writing its answer. So first it was discovered at a cave called as Grotte des Infantes. Pardon me if this pronunciation is wrong. This is what it spells like. In a village in Grimaldi in Italy, and hence the name comes from its village, that is Grimaldi. The time frame will write down here, right? The period was quaternary period. The period was quaternary period, right? The second was epoch. Epoch was upper Pleistocene. It means 40,000 before Christ BC to 10,000 BC. So Grimaldi man existed in this time period, that is upper Pleistocene. The third thing is that the cultural age of Grimaldi man is in, we'll put him in upper Paleolithic. There is a separate video explaining on Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic, etc. in the playlist, so I would suggest you to go and write them down as well, where you will find better notes of these particular three topics. Now there are some salient features. Some of the salient features of Grimaldi man, it includes: first, the skull. So the skull, it is long. The skull is long, narrow and high. So they gave it a term called as hyperdolicocephalic. Certain terms we will understand when we'll start physical anthropology or biological anthropology, that is chapter 9. So there we'll understand that what these particular terms means. As far as this topic is concerned, you should just remember that if something comes to Grimaldi man, it's hyperdolicocephalic, right? The next is the cranial capacity. The cranial capacity of Grimaldi man is 1300 to 1450 cranial capacity cc. So this was the cranial capacity, which is nearly equals to human. Then you see that the skull was elliptical. Fourth, the parietals are flattened. these few things like hyperdolichocephalic or parietal, so some terms will also come. We'll discuss them separately in the introduction to this particular chapter. But for now, as far as we are writing our answers, so this is important that we should have few key points, right? So here the key point is parietal, right? And remember it in that way only. Then forehead is well developed. Here, forehead is well developed. We will have enough points so that if you do not remember or recall certain points, that will be fine, right? So forehead was well developed. Then cheekbone are poorly marked. Cheekbones are poorly marked. Cheekbones are poorly marked. Then dentition is slightly U-shape. Slightly. Dentition is slightly U-shape. Then skull is asymmetric or disharmonic. The skull is disharmonic. Then you see that supraorbital ridges are not well developed. Supraorbital ridges are not well developed. If this is something as a front view, you will see that there are sockets, right? Eye sockets. This particular portion right, this is not developed. This is what is they call it as supraorbital ridge. Then orbits are large and subrectangular. Orbits are basically the sockets are subrectangular, where eyes are kept, so they are not square, they are not rectangle, they are rectangular, so they are rectangular. Then the next point here is nasal bone are flattened. Nasal bones are flattened. Basically they have resulting to have flat nose. Jaws are slightly protruded. Jaws are slightly protruded. Palate is very deep. Palate is basically the area in one's mouth above tongue, that is palate. It is deep, long and narrow. So these are some points that we have discussed about Grimaldi man. These are the salient feature of Grimaldi mans. We'll also write down few if in case will be in need. So jaws are strong. Chin is poorly developed. Then teeth are large. Lower limbs are longer than upper limbs. Lower limbs are longer than upper limbs, and forearms and legs are very long. Forearms and legs are very long. So these are some of the salient features for the Grimaldi man. Here we can also draw a diagram of skull. See, it is not necessary to draw a neat and clean diagram, but it should somewhere look like a skull. We have gone through a point that the eye sockets, they are rectangular, so you should be able to make them look like rectangular. They are going to be the nose, right, and the dentition, of course. I'm definitely not a one with very good drawing skills, but anything like this could be fine. And then of course the jaw that we have to show has to be broad, and the protruding exactly something like this, right? So this is how it is. Then we'll draw a diagram from the top view, something it will look like this, and then we can draw a side diagram, but I think this too will be sufficient, and that's fine. Then we'll write down some of the cultural characteristics which are associated with Grimaldi man, It belonged to Aurignacian culture, meaning stone and bone tool. It belongs to, as we have seen, that it belongs to Upper Paleolithic. What this Aurignacian culture is, we'll understand it in a separate complete class on archaeology, where you will understand that what basically Aurignacian means, or how this Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, Chalcolithic, etc. are divided. So as far as now is concerned, you have to understand that Grimaldi man belongs to Aurignacian culture, which was stone and bone tool. It belongs to Upper Paleolithic, right? There were knives, there were scrapers, there were gravers, and these were the important tools. The flint were worked on both sides, right? And the Grimaldi man can be very prominent. Therefore, Grimaldi is supposed to be late incursion of African race to European history. So, it is called as late incursion of African race to European territory. So this will conclude our answer for Grimaldi man. I hope you liked it. In the next video, we will write down answer on other topic. Stay tuned. Thank you.